Well, g'day and welcome to another month of mucking around with a boat on a beach. The seasons are going around, it's turning into windy season again and bits of rubbish are falling off the trees everywhere. Now, this thing here, what do you think it is leaning against the back of Dave's Pajero? What do you think these things are? I'm calling them my lamp posts. It's a bit of a joke, really. As they say, the early bird catches the worm. The sun isn't up yet. I really want to make progress on this cockpit. Last night I put in some glue strips, like here, and here and here. I've already done that side over there. This way I can get the wood to sit in nice and flush. So I'll take those screws out and get this glued in, same as this piece here. One could easily imagine that the cockpit floor goes in like that, bingo, but in actual fact it's about 5 days later that I finally got it glued in, with everything double epoxied underneath, all the blocks double epoxied, and a bit of a re-engineering of the vent system for the engine room going on there. But anyway, it's time to take out my supporting screws and fill in the little gaps, of which there are quite a few actually. Over here, and yeah, all the way around there's a gap over here. But it's slowly coming together. I use these screws a lot. These are not available in the Philippines. They're what I've saved over from Australia. They're plasterboard screws, and they're great for holding things together. Epoxy doesn't like sticking to them, and I've used them over and over and over again. A bit of a tricky operation. Up here on the roof I have put in all this timber work. I've used a jigsaw at a 45-degree angle to determine that slope all the way around, and then I've used my infamous rough and ready angle grinder technique to fair, and I try to get it as close as I can by the angle grinder. And then after that, what I do is I use this old-fashioned technique of a block sander with sandpaper, which gets everything nice and fair. It takes a fair bit of rubbing, but this is the way to take out the bumps. I'm calling this my upstairs swimming pool. Well, it's been raining for hours and finally it stopped. Lots and lots of unprotected wood on the boat, and let's see if the upstairs swimming pool has been correctly named. I think I need a drain hole somewhere around here. Haven't cut one in yet. Also plenty of water here in the cockpit where I haven't cut any drain holes yet. Yeah. And this wood has not been epoxied, so it'll take a while for it to dry out, but things dry out pretty quickly here. always a little more complicated than you think. The cockpit floor hatch ready to be glued together. Before I go too much further here, I need to get a shelf in this area here. I've got bits of string everywhere so I can make proper measurements. Anyway, that shelf is next, like so. Okay, that's all glued in and sanded. Cockpit floor is all in, drain holes cut, and all double coated with epoxy. And this goes on like so. Good. Okay, I've got another supply of plywood in. Quite expensive by Philippine standards, not by Australian standards. I've got sheets of 11mm, 9mm and a sheet of 4.5mm. The thickest stuff is for this, which is the basic shape of my new rudder. Cutting out the plywood here for seat supports in the cockpit. Luckily I found a bucket just the right size to make the curve just right for those holes which I need to lighten it and to give me access in behind. The roof now all double coated with epoxy and drain holes in both sides. Nice big fat 3/4 inch pipe there. Yes, I'll need to fiberglass it, but I'll do that later when all this combing here is finished, and I'll do all the fiberglassing for that in one go. I'm cutting out pieces of plywood now for my new rudder. This is the design. I've got 2 pieces already cut out over here. I'll cut out another 2. 5 pieces are certainly going to be heavy enough, hopefully strong enough. It's a U-Butte Ian Farrier style design, which I've had before, and I found to be the best rudder design ever. I'll no doubt talk a little bit more about that later. The rudder now starting to take shape. Okay, fiberglass going on here. Now what I've done is I've shaped it basically with an angle grinder and also a planer, and then I've given it a coat of thin epoxy and then a sanding with the finishing sander, and then a coat of thick epoxy filling in all the little gaps everywhere, and then a coat of straight epoxy. Layer this on top of that, pat it all down, wet it out from underneath as much as I could, and then a layer of thinned out epoxy over the top of it. It's pretty rough and ready, but there you go. As you enter the cockpit, your hand tends to want to go here to be able to stabilise yourself and swing in. So I've made a couple of hand holds, which will be beaut and help support the veranda as well. Glued in, nice and strong, and very handy. Ha, ha, ha. A bit more of the combing in. I've got the seat supports in and the seat bottoms. Seat backs are next to go in. The monstrous cockpit roof is pretty much in its final shape. Yes, it needs fiberglassing, a little bit more fairing, and painting, of course. Great water catchment area, great for solar panels, and a great grip all the way around, which is terrific now. shape. Though obviously right at the back there it will need further work, shelving and things to go in there. But I'm really proud of it. It's come up very much like how I hoped it would. Fabulous area. Good sized seats. Picnic on the boat. Oh yeah. Gazebo lifestyle. It's very nice here. See you next month.